everyone, welcome. I'm Heather, and I'm the Bent Yogi. And that was Winston. And this is Mindful Monday. A short practice, some movement, gentle movement, breathing, and meditation. You don't need anything special. You don't need special yoga clothes. You don't need a yoga mat. This is a practice that you can do seated on the ground or seated in a chair. All you really need is you to show up. So let's get started. I'm going to start here, seated. If you're in a chair, sit with your feet flat on the ground. And if you're seated on the ground, whatever way feels comfortable for you, you might actually sit on a block or a blanket, give yourself a little bit of support. Find a comfortable place for your hands. Set your gaze, lower your gaze, or close your eyes. And we'll begin today just by taking a few good deep breaths. And as you take a few breaths, can you really feel for taking one breath at a time? And that's something that I say a lot when I'm teaching all of my yoga classes. Take one breath at a time. Someone asked me, what do you mean when you say that? Take one breath at a time. I mean just that. Take one breath at a time. Often we're taking a breath, but we're already thinking about the next breath. Or we're seated here in this practice and we're thinking about what we're going to do next. Or we're thinking about something that happened yesterday or last week or last year. So here, take a big breath in and let it out. Take a big breath in. And empty out. So you feeling a full inhale and maybe a little pause at the top. And you feeling a full exhale with maybe a little pause at the bottom. My stomach just made a bunch of noise. And now my oven is beeping. And I'm going to leave those little interruptions in because that's part of your practice. It's part of any practice. The interruptions that come in from the outside, and the interruptions that bubble up from the inside, whether it's your stomach or your thinking mind. Hopefully you're still following your breath. And if you've gotten distracted, that's okay, right? Those are the interruptions. The distractions are the interruptions. And you simply come back, invite yourself, remind yourself to take a deep breath in. And a long breath out. And take a big breath in. And a long breath out. And I try not to give too many breath cues here because we all breathe at a different pace. And how deeply you can breathe, that's just up to you. It's up to your body. And with time, you'll be able to breathe more deeply. But the practice of breathing shouldn't be stressful. Don't worry if you're doing it right. There's no wrong. it can be really challenging to stay in your breath, to stay in this breath. But it can also feel really good. It can feel good while you're here. And then that's a feeling that you take with you when this practice ends. And it's a feeling that you can come back to anywhere, anytime, just by taking a couple of really good deep breaths. So together, once more, let's take a big breath in. And a long breath out. Let your shoulders soften. Feel if you can sit a little bit taller here. Watch out for leaning forward or rounding forward. If you are seated in a chair and you haven't already, you might scoot forward a little bit so you're not leaning back against something. You are upright, holding yourself up, but still feeling grounded. Your feet on the ground if you're in a chair, seated, grounded on the earth if you're on the ground, and grounded in this breath. A big breath in and a long breath out. Stay with your breath and go ahead and extend your left leg straight out in front of you. And if you are seated in a chair, just extend your leg out as best you can. You can bring your right foot flat on your mat if you're on the ground, and draw your right knee up towards your chest and draw your chest towards your right leg. And you can find this seated as well. And just taking a breath or two here. There's a little bit of effort in drawing the leg in, but not so much effort that you're wrestling or struggling with your body. And if it doesn't work to draw the leg in, then simply extend your left leg and keep your right foot flat if you're in a chair. And take a breath in and a breath out. And then switch your legs. Extend your right leg out. And draw your left leg, your left knee up towards your chest. And draw your chest towards your leg. And if a little bit of just really gentle forward and back movement feels good, you can add that in. And still feeling the movement of your breath. Still noticing those interruptions as they come in from the outside or as they bubble up from the inside. And as you practice, it is just noticing when that happens and not engaging in a story, choosing to come back to this breath. Take a deep breath in here and a long breath out. And extend both legs forward. And again, you can do this seated in a chair, just extending your legs out as best you can. You might wiggle around a little bit so you are more firmly seated. If you're on some kind of a prop, you might want to take that out. Here, reach your hands high. And let's just take a breath or two here. Reach your hands up, but feel that you are lengthening up through your arms. And you're lengthening up through the sides of your body. You might be able to draw your low belly in and up. a little bit of support for your low back, actually a lot of support for your low back. And take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, begin to gently fold forward. You can rest your hands on your legs, alongside your legs. You might be able to get your hands to your feet. Don't worry about that. And if you feel like there's a lot of resistance here, put a bend in your knees. I like to encourage people to focus on the length and the space in the low back. So our tendency when we fold is to round and fold. And if that feels good, you can work with that. But I like to focus with not folding so far forward. You can see I'm not really folded far forward at all. But keeping this length, this space in the low back and the sides of the body. Letting your shoulders roll back. Right, so you're keeping the front of your body open. And for me, that means keeping my heart open. And that can be as simple as being compassionate with yourself in this practice today. Not being critical or judgmental of what you can or can't do. Instead, feeling that you can do this, you are doing this. And then maintaining this open heart after you leave this practice, when you start to move through your day. Most of us are just doing the best that we can, right? In our practices, in our lives. So cultivating compassion for ourselves and for others as we move through our practices and our days and our lives. I think that was a soap opera once, right? Days of Our Lives. It helps to be lighthearted about all of this as well. And take a big breath in. And a long breath out. And then come on back up to seated. Whatever feels comfortable for you. And we'll finish with just a few deep breaths. And you can take these breaths on your own, one breath at a time. And you can take as much time here as you like, as you need. I'm Heather, and I'm the Bent Yogi. And thank you for practicing with me today. Take care of yourself, take care of each other, and I'll see you soon.